Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this video in which I will go through negative indices. So that is where the power is a negative number. We'll just be looking at negative whole numbers today. So let's start. So what would be something like 2 to the power of minus 1? It doesn't really have a natural meaning. You can't really multiply 2 by itself negative 1 times. So what we do sometimes in maths is we define things in such a way that they'll be easy. So what I mean by that is I'm going to come up with what 2 to the power of minus 1 equals. And I'm going to do that so that it fits in with the other index laws. So I know that 2 to the power of minus 1, if I were to say times that by 2 to the power of 1, from previous index laws, I keep the same base and I add the powers. But I know that 2 to the power of 0 is just 1, and 2 to the power of 1 is 2. So, whatever 2 to the power of negative 1 is, to fit in with other index laws, when I times it by 2, I get 1. But what do you times by 2 to get 1? The answer is a half. 2 to the power of negative 1 is a half. Please make sure you understand. 2 to the power of negative 1 is not negative 2. You cannot raise a positive number to any power to get a negative answer. So even though the power is negative, our answer is still positive. So what would 2 to the power of negative 2 be? Well, to be consistent with previous index laws, that would be 2 to the power of negative 1 squared. So it would be 1 over 2 squared. And remember, if I'm squaring a fraction, square the top, square the bottom. Okay? So we have a rule developing here, and hopefully you can see the pattern. If I raise 2 to the power of negative k, 2 to the power of a negative whole number, it's just going to be 1, and then I write the thing with a positive power. But that would have worked with any number, whether I use 2, 3, 7, whatever. Actually, it wouldn't have worked with 0, but it would have worked with any other number. So we can come up with a general rule. A to the power of negative b is 1 over a to the power of b. So sometimes the questions will give you something like this, and they'll say write it with a positive index, and you do it like that. So let's look at a few examples. So let's say 4 to the power of negative 5 is just 1 over 4 to the power of 5. Okay? X to the power of negative 7, 1 over x to the power of 7. If I have something like 2y to the power of negative 5, what you do is on the top of the fraction you put everything that's not raised to a negative power, so the 2 by itself, and anything that has a negative power goes on the bottom, like that. Okay? So sometimes you will see a fraction that already has a negative power on the bottom. So if I have something like 1 over x to the power of minus 9, so I can rewrite this, so I don't do anything to the 1 on top, I can rewrite this as 1 over x to the power of 9. 1 divided by 1 over something just equals that something. Okay? So like 2 to the power of 4 is the same as 1 over 2 to the power of negative 4, for example. So when you have a negative power on the bottom of a fraction already, you can basically just get rid of the fraction. All right, hope you've enjoyed this video. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.